Before we get into this video, I do want to say my thoughts are going out to all those people who are going to be affected by Hurricane Milton. And this is not for clicks, but this is for educational purposes. I do not have any charities in mind, but if you are able and can contribute, I invite you to look up some charities that will be helping out the people that are affected by Hurricane Milton. And let's get right into the video. The hurricane named after the guy from Love is Blind is coming in hot and is going to disrupt almost the entire cruise and airline industry. Not to mention, this is right off the bat of Hurricane Helen, which was pretty terrible for the area of Tampa. And now we have this major Category 4, which may be a Category 5 hurricane. This hurricane has caused 1,700 flight cancellations. And with Florida having the most amount of cruise ports in the entire country for one state, this is definitely going to interrupt a lot of the cruise industry. The port of Tampa Bay is probably going to be destroyed, which means the ships that are docked in Tampa are probably going to have to reroute and find a new home base, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We definitely know these following ships will be either rerouted or canceled in the next week. And from Carnival Cruise Line, it's going to be the Paradise and the Pride. From Royal Caribbean, it's going to be the Radiance of the Seas, the Enchantment of the Seas, and the Grandeur of the Seas. Celebrity Cruises Constellation, Norwegian's Jade, and Margaret at Sea's Islander. They are all currently stuck out at sea and will not be able to dock until after the port authorities give their okay that these ships will be safe and cleared to dock, which means they might be stuck at sea for a little while. Now, I did see Don's video that got a little bit of backlash saying that they're stuck at sea and he doesn't understand why. It's a very tricky situation when you have a bunch of workers that need to go home, batten down their hatches. They have to maybe potentially leave this state to take care of their safety. So you are relying on other people, not just the cruise crew that you're currently on, but a bunch of other people are involved in the logistics situation. And speaking of logistics, this is going to be the worst storm that has hit the Tampa Bay area in actual landfall in about 100 years. So there's going to be some major supply chain interruptions because of this. Trucks probably aren't going to be able to make their way to the port through all the debris. The ports also contain cargo which could get blown away or destroyed or even spoiled if it's food in the wind. And honestly, that could have some major disruptions if cruise ships need to keep a certain item on hand for repairs or doctor's equipment or any of that. That could potentially have an effect on if the cruise can even sail to begin with. And that's just for the port of Tampa Bay. And unfortunately, the trajectory of this hurricane is pretty much impacting all of the center of Florida, which means there's going to be closures for pretty much every port anyway in this state. And those ports are going to be the Port of Key West, Port St. Pete, Port of Tampa Bay, Seaport Manatee, Port Canaveral, and Jacksonville. That is going to cause a severe delay in a lot of different cruise lines. So just going through port by port, let's talk about what ships are going to be impacted in the next week and what sailings are probably going to be canceled. In Jacksonville, the port's going to be closed on October 9th. The Carnival Elation will not be able to return. That was scheduled back on October 10th. The Carnival Elation voyage on 10/10 is going to either have a shortened duration depending on the post-storm assessment or will be canceled altogether. The Port of Tampa Bay is currently closed. The Carnival Paradise will not return October 10th, and the 10/10 voyage will also be canceled. Port Canaveral will be closed on October 9th. The Carnival Glory will not return potentially on the 11th as scheduled, and there will be more updates on that as we get more information from the port authorities. Miami Port is going to be open with limited operations. The Sunrise that may return back on October 10th is probably going to be impacted, which will also cause a delay on the next sailing. Some other key itinerary changes: the Carnival Pride that left on 10/6 will be rerouted to Bermuda and will stay there for 2 nights. The Carnival Sunrise, which left on 10/7, will be facing delays to the return of Charleston, and the October 12th voyage is under review. The Carnival Valor that left on 10/5 will face delays returning to New Orleans, and the October 10th voyage is under review. Not to mention the MSC Seashore that's supposed to dock on October 10th may be delayed as well. There's also the Disney Wish, the Royal Caribbean Adventure of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean Utopia of the Seas, and in addition, the Megaregalia and the Symphony Seas will have their ports canceled that are supposed to arrive on Port Canaveral. So anything that involves the center of Florida, like Tampa and Port Canaveral, are going to have to either be rerouted, changed, canceled. So there's a lot of moving parts, but because of this, there's going to be a lot of disruptions with those cruise lines, and especially anything that's stationed in Tampa. I could see them having at least a week or two of downtime because this hurricane is supposed to be super impactful, and I don't think a cruise port is going to be the number one priority when it comes to restoring power. And I just want to say something. This hurricane, yes, is going to affect cruisers, but it's going to affect many more people than people just on vacation. People are going to lose everything, their homes, their cars, their businesses. This is going to affect a lot of people's day-to-day lives for a very long time. So like I said in the beginning of this video, if you are able to contribute, please feel free to contribute. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people in need because of this. And obviously we know FEMA only covers a certain amount of money, and insurance companies are going to be inundated with a bunch of backlogged requests. So there's going to be a really big community of people that are going to be out a lot of money and will not have anywhere to stay. So keep your hearts open, keep your loved ones close to you, because you really don't know what's going to happen. Again, this hurricane wasn't even a conversation about 120 hours ago, and now it went from a category 1 to one of the worst hurricanes to ever make landfall in Florida. So this is a channel about travel and having a good time, but sometimes we have to be serious. And unfortunately, this is just the reality of the world. If you are in the Tampa Bay area and you have an iPhone, I feel like it's my platform to be able to inform you this. If you have an iPhone 14 or newer and you have iOS 18, you actually can make satellite phone calls. I will leave the link to that in the description so you can walk through that. I just want to be able to make sure that you will get the help you need. If you need to make a phone call, you can do so via satellite, and the first 2 years are free. No, this isn't sponsored by Apple. This is just some information that I came across because my parents are probably going to be affected by this hurricane as well. So keeping everybody in my thoughts, and I want to say see you in the next one, but that just sucks. And I do want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Stay safe out there, everybody. This one sucks, and take it easy. Peace.